feel like the impossible happened. I got talked into the new Nomad Cosmetics palette, the new Fuji 5 Lakes eyeshadow palette. I tried a Nomad Cosmetics palette a little while ago, like a year or two. I didn't love it at all. Everybody said, oh, it's such a beautiful palette. I didn't like it. And since then, I've been scared to try another Nomad palette. But then this palette came along. People started talking about it. I watched some reviews and a lot of people were like, this is my new favorite Nomad palette. And I was like, really? Really? And then I started looking a little closer at the beautiful packaging, at the color story with a lot of like cool tone shades, a lot of options here, a lot of shades that I would wear. And I decided to take the risk and go for it. I thought, you know what, everybody's loving this. If I don't love this, that means that there is no hope for me and Nomad. But if I do love this, then maybe I could get into this brand after all. So let's see what I actually think about this palette. I'm gonna do 2 looks in this video. Let's get into it. Alright, first, quickly on this palette. This packaging is one of the most beautiful packagings of an eyeshadow palette that I've ever seen. When I opened it, I was stunned. It's so beautiful. I love the artsy vibes. I just love the freshness of these colors while it's still a fall palette. And then when I opened it, I thought, I think I'm gonna like these colors. Beautiful. I love the combinations. I feel like it makes a lot of sense. We have the yellows, we have the blues, and then we have the reds. But we also have 2 kind of like neutral shades that can tone down the other shades, which for me makes a lot of sense. They seem a little random in this palette, but I feel like in the looks that I did, it was just like a very nice companion to have to the bolder colors. This swatched amazingly. This swatched beautifully. At this point, I've done both the looks, of course, but I'm not gonna spoil too much. My thoughts after doing the looks is gonna be at the end of the video. And you know, I was really hoping to like this palette. Also because Nomad Cosmetics is one of the brands, I just have to mention this. This is one of the brands that is really easy to get in the EU from their own EU website. I ordered this from the EU website. It came to me really quickly. Didn't have to pay any like excessive shipping or taxes. The shipping I think was like €8, but you also have like different influencer discount codes with Nomad, which kind of like balances that out as well. So I think that's a good thing to know. Alright, I think I said what I needed to say for the start of this video. Let's get into the first look. Alright, it's time for the first look. I have only swatched this palette. I've looked at this palette. This literally like just came in like half an hour ago. And I'm thinking I kind of want to do something with this shimmer over here. It seems a little random in the palette. I feel like we have very clear like yellow, blue and red kind of like compartments in the palette, and then we have this kind of like soft pink shade, and then we have a nude matte. And I do feel like they make sense, but they feel a little bit more random than the other shades, but I am excited to use them. And I'm kind of thinking I want to use Red Rowan, I want to use Pampas Grass, and then I want to use Momiji. Very excited about that. So I'm gonna start with Red Rowan in the crease. And I'm sorry if you hear any background noises. It's very hot in the Netherlands today. It's like the hottest time of day. I have my window open. Okay, that is looking nice. Of course, a neutral usually isn't gonna tell you like the true quality of a palette, but it's looking promising. I could really see myself using this in a lot of different looks. I think this is a great transition shade for all the colorful shades in this palette, and I feel like it's gonna soften the look that I'm gonna do a little bit. Okay, so far so good. I'm gonna go into the shade Momiji, which is the more muted red, and it's gonna be the outer corner. I'm just taking the same brush. I feel like this is precise enough. Let's see if we can build this up. I feel like this red definitely has a bit of like almost a berry purpley undertone. It's looking quite good. I do feel like I have to build it up a little bit, but no issue with that. Like that also makes eyeshadows easier to use than when they're like bam in your face pigment. So I don't mind it, especially for a deeper shade. Like you have a little bit more control. Like with lighter shades, I'd rather have like right away pigment. And I'm gonna blend it inwards a little bit with just what I have left on the brush. Just a bit. That's really promising. It's looking really good. I'm gonna blend the edges with a clean brush. And I think I'm gonna add a little bit more with a precise brush of the shade to see if I can build up just the outer corner a little bit more. It gets a little pinky almost, which I do enjoy. I feel like it really adds some versatility to this palette. I think I'm gonna grab a little bit of this red shade, Fiery Maple, just a little bit. This feels really, really creamy. Like that is just the faintest touch. And I'm gonna use it in the outer corner. Ooh, that is really pretty. But it's a very creamy shimmer. So I would expect this like pigment. The thing with the Nomad palette that I tried before was the shimmers were so dry. It was really hard to pick up. And these are really creamy. Like not all of them felt the same. But this one at least, this was the first shade that I swatched and it was kind of like, oh, thank goodness. So that's definitely a lot more red than what I have in the crease, but I like it, I like it. And now we're gonna go into Pampas, this one, Pampas Grass. Also with a finger, also feels very creamy. It's just a little bit of a lighter, almost like ballet pink, which I think will go really well with both the blues and the reds. And it's also, I think, gonna be a really nice inner corner shade. That's a really pretty combination. I'm really liking this. I just really love when the front part of the look is lighter. When I wear kind of like brighter, bolder, darker shades, I just think that really works. I'm gonna apply the mattes that I applied on the top, on the bottom as well. So Red Rowan, which is kind of a funny name because this is not a red shade. And then Momiji. And I'm just keeping it pretty soft. Just taking a little bit of Momiji. And I think I want to take Diamond Fuji, and I'm gonna put that in my inner corner and kind of like wrap it towards the lower lash line. So we are adding a little bit of the blue in this look as well. I love combining kind of like unexpected shades. Even if I do like sort of monogrammatic looks, I love adding a little bit of like interest, a little surprise. Gonna take a little bit of that on the lower lash line. That is a beautiful combination. I think putting that berry in the crease and then actually combining it with a light blue shimmer would be an amazing look. I actually would love to try that someday, but because I've already used these shades now in this look, it's not gonna be in this video. A little bit more of a blend. I just want it to look soft and beautiful. This is a look, I've never done this look. I've never done a look that looks like this, and I am very excited about it. I think it's looking really good. All right, let's do some mascara. And this is gonna be the finished look, and I am very impressed with how this came out. I had expected to like this palette more than the last one, but I had not expected to get this look out of it and to feel so beautiful and ethereal yet impactful. Like, it's fun and colorful, but I still feel very much like myself, and I still feel very comfortable, and like, so it feels like something I would easily happily wear out of the house. Like, sometimes I do looks in this studio and I'm kind of like, okay, I might have to open the door like this, or I might have to go on a walk like this. I know I shouldn't be scared, but sometimes I am a little. But I just feel like this is such a cute look. It just came out a little pinky. It came out a little soft, a little romantic. I feel like this is already proving itself to be quite versatile. So I'm very excited to do the next look. Like, so far, everything worked amazing. The mattes blend really nicely, and I really love the shimmers. Like, they are not crazy. They're not duochromatic really, but they are beautiful for sure. Let's get into the second look. I was just wearing another eyeshadow look. I just removed the eyeshadow. There's a little bit of mascara residue. I think you can see it. Reapplied my eye primer, and we are gonna be going into deep blues today. Very excited to start playing with those. I am gonna use a Fuji Go-Go, and I'm gonna use Gawaku Chico first on the eyes, and I think then I can intensify it a little bit with the darker blues. But we're gonna start out with this muted one in the crease. Okay, dipping in lightly. I do love a bit of a muted blue eyeshadow. I don't know if I've had this particular tone on my eyes before. Like, I've had more true blue, soft blues, I think, on my eyes. That is blending really nicely. I want to blend it like towards the inner corner a little bit more, like so. That is beautiful. That is blending itself basically, like that's really nice. So I think this is a good base for this eye look. This is looking really nice. Intensifying a little bit. It has a little bit of a greenish undertone, but it's still cool tone, but it's not like a super cool tone blue by any means. Okay, I'm gonna go into Kawaguchiko with my finger. This one feels very, very creamy, and I'm just gonna apply that all over my eyelid. That's really, really nice. It seems to have quite like a shifty sheen to it. I wouldn't really say it's like a true duochrome, but the shift on it, like the sheen on it, is a little bit more cool toned. It's a little bit more blue. I really like how this is looking so far, but we are gonna intensify a little bit. I do really want to test out the palette, so I'm gonna go into Mount Hui. I think that's how you say it, with a more precise brush. There's also kind of like a hint of teal in this one. It's kind of bluish green, very beautiful. Ooh, it's pretty. These blues are definitely a little different for me, but I do like it on myself. I do like these undertones. I'm gonna grab that first brush and blending a little. First brush with the lightest blue is this. But there's not like only maybe like a slight residue on the brush. I think for the inner corner, I think I'm gonna go into one of the yellows. I'm gonna go into Golden Ginkgo because we need to try different shades. Gonna take a pencil brush with Golden Ginkgo. This one also feels really creamy. It has a little bit of a hint of green in there. I feel like a little bit of a green sheen. Very pretty. And I think for the lower lash line, I am gonna go into Red Rowan again. Kind of placing down this neutral base. And then I'm going into Fuji Go-Go again. And kind of blending that into the top part. And then I want to go into the shade Yamanakako. I'm gonna take that on a small pencil brush. This is a deeper blue shimmer. Gonna place that on the lower lash line. That is a beautiful shade for sure. All of these shimmers are more of like a standard shimmer, not a lot of shiftiness going on, no multi-chromes, no duochromes. That I feel like because of that you can buy a pretty like good quality cute palette for a fairly decent price. And sometimes you just want a fun color, so you don't really always want, at least I don't always want multi-chromes, like it's not necessary. I like a kind of standard shimmer as well, but like good quality still. I want to blend that yellow shimmer a little into this. Add a little bit of brightness at the beginning. This is really cool. And I'm gonna use that deepest blue to do a shadow liner to emphasize depth at the lash line a little bit. The residue I'm taking on my lower lash line. Just right up to it. Okay, this I feel like is really cool. Maybe I want to grab a little bit of, we just keep going. Gonna take a little bit of Diamond Fuji and just popping that right over there. I just want a little bit of brightness right there. That is such a nice topper. This is definitely a look I've never done, but I'm enjoying it. I'm liking it. And I really like the blend. Right, let me finish up the look. And this is gonna be the finished second look. I am really happy with how this came out. I feel really good in this. Like, it's so well blended. I love the colors. It's smoky, but it's not too harsh. I am a fan. I'm a fan. Alright, let's talk about this palette after 2 looks. I feel like I've tried a lot of different shades. First up, the packaging, I just really love. I think they did such a good job with this. I mean, I feel like this is one of the most beautiful, yet still practical eyeshadow palette packagings I have seen. I just love the raised details on this and the vibes. Like, and then the color story. I feel like this is a fall, but made into something that I could easily wear. Like, I'm not really that much into the fall colors, but I feel like there are a lot of tones here that I really enjoy wearing. You can even go a little pinky, you can go a little neutral, you can go for the cool tone blues. And then if you like grab one of these yellows, you can make like the reds also a little warmer. I feel like it's really versatile. I think that this palette is really beautiful. The shimmers are stunning. As I said, not multi-chromes, but they are really beautiful. They are shiny, they are creamy, they are pigmented. Everything in this palette worked really well so far for me. I've tried a lot of the shades, I think. I am still a little like not sure if I'm gonna jump at the chance to buy the next Nomad palette and the next Nomad palette. I'm still a little scared that there might be some inconsistencies in the formula, because the palette that I didn't like is a palette that some people did really like. So I'm kind of like, how did that happen? Why are people saying that they like it and I don't like it? Well, in this case, people are right. This is a beautiful palette. I cannot wait to play more with this, to continue like getting into this palette, especially in the fall that we're now getting into. I'm pretty excited. Like, this is a good one. This is a good one. And yeah, that's gonna be it for today's video. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in my next one. Bye bye.